comic book fans, welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner. I'm your host as always, Cammy. Now we got quite the variety this week, so let's get right into it. First up from Image Comics, we have Chew number 3, written by John Layman and art by Rob Guillory. Now, I never had a chance to review 1 or 2 on the show because they would go sold out in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th printings. Luckily, when 3 came out this week, they had more printings of 1 and 2. So I was finally able to read through, love it, and then review number 3 because finally I got a copy of it. So, we follow Tony Chu as he is following up on a case from a last issue, and all of a sudden he finds out about this Amelia Mint, who is a food critic, and she's also a Sabo Scrivener. What these people are capable of is they are able to describe, whether in words or in writing, the sensation of tasting foods. And so she's a food critic, and so, you know, if she gives the 5-star restaurants a go, then everyone knows what it's like to eat there. Well, she's kind of bored with the culinary world, so she starts writing about D and F-rated restaurants and whatnot. And so the whole city is just vomiting everywhere. Tony's boss wants her fired by the end of the day, like either you get her fired or you're fired, either or. And when he does his little research on her, he falls in love with her because he is all about not eating things because he knows their whole history, but when he can get it described to it in this way, he can go ahead and love food like everyone else. So anyway, on the way over to the paper, he's trying to tell her that he's FDA. He's kind of mumbling because this is a girl he's seen before and he's in love with her and he wants to tell her and he thinks they can just be a couple, but that's not going to happen. And meanwhile, there's this terrorist organization holding the entire paper hostage. They are called Egg, and their belief is that this whole bird flu and chicken propaganda is just that. Propaganda doesn't exist. The U.S. government is lying to us. You're going to print our 72-page manifesto saying that Americans should eat whatever they want and kill and destroy whatever they want. So pretty much they're like the anti-PETA of this world. And it's just very funny. And Tony Chu tries to step in, say, I'm FDA, back off, and he's kind of outnumbered. And Amelia sees this, and she goes, not to worry, no one's going to die or anyone's going to be held hostage. And she starts giving a review of some D-rated places. And they just can't stand it. They just throw up everywhere. Tony's in love, but she's off on a plane by the end of the issue with this weird little Guatemalan man, or he could be another race, but just looking at his tan skin color. He found this mysterious glowing fruit, and she's investigating, it seems. And Tony's in the hospital talking to a friend during this whole time because his friends can't get out of the hospital bed. And it turns out he's been talking to the wrong person the entire time. He's kind of freaking the person out. He's like, who are you? And he's looking at his charts. He's like, oh, wrong person. And on the chart, it says goner anyway. So it was a very fun issue. Chew is a fantastic series. I was fortunate enough to interview the creators during Comic-Con, and I got the t-shirt to prove it. So you'll see them in the upcoming Comic-Con video later this month. Now on to the Fast 5. First up, from Dynamite, we have The Boys number 33. Now, this is all about the boys versus payback because what Stormfront did to the girl was just unacceptable. And so, she already took out one of his eyes, and Butcher makes it his duty to take out the other by just taking up some glass and throwing it in his face. You know, take that, you Nazi scum. And so it's just a whole issue revolving around Butcher, one by one, killing off the members of Payback. Stormfront unfortunately gets away, though, and he lives to fight another day. So not to worry, we'll see more boys versus that Nazi Superman in the next issue. Next up from DC, we have Secret 6 number 12. And alas, Miss Simone has done it again. So we follow the Secret Six as they found out that Artemis, the Amazon, slash God, is on the island, and Wonder Woman knows this, and she comes to the scene a little late and asks around, alright, who killed her? Which one of you did it? And so they're trying to explain it wasn't us, but Jeanette says, hey, you know, I'll go toe-to-toe with her after Deadshot fires off a couple of warning shots and she just does her little bracelets. And he goes, that's just not fair. But anyway, so it's Jeanette versus Wonder Woman, and we finally discover what Jeanette's real powers are. She's a Banshee, and she's one badass Banshee at that. She makes Wonder Woman go into a coma, pretty much, by her screams. And so the Secret Six realize they're in too deep now. They need to get off the island. So one group takes Artemis and they go off, try to get off the island. The other group take Wonder Woman and they take them to their employers and say, hey, it's cool, it's cool. Look, we got you Wonder Woman instead. And so we follow them down to the 9th level of hell. That's what they're calling it. It's just 9 stories down below of the super prison. And the devil, apparently, is going to be feasting on Wonder Woman. So it's quite a cool little twist. It was a very cool issue. Nicola Scott art on this is just totally gorgeous. If you're looking for fun and just badassery, it's the Secret Six, hands down. Next up from Avatar, we have Absolution #1. Now we follow this hero named John Dusk, and his power is an aura, which is kind of like the Green Lantern ring, only it's more of a lethal force. So he can make like different shapes and use it as knives and bullets. But yeah, he's kind of fed up with the atrocities he is seeing every time on a daily basis, because this is the scum of the human race he's dealing with, and they're just barbarians. And he finally doesn't want them to, just go to jail anymore or go to the courtrooms because they're just going to get released. He's bringing his own brand of justice and making it seem like it was all an accident. So it's going to be a very interesting, new, darker hero gone awry story. It's Avatar. You got the beautiful Juan Jose Wright covers, and the gorgeous interior artwork by Roberto Villacava. I think that's right. Roberto Villacava. So it's a fun issue. I can't wait to see what happens next. Next up from Vertigo, we have House of Mystery #16. Now, Fig & Co., or Fig & Company if you're nasty, they are trapped in this city, this deserted city, but yet still in the house. But they're still running low on supplies. They can't go to another dimension. They've got to live with what they're given. So the couple of the normal patrons are telling stories to pass the time, and the story in this issue that really was creepy, eerie, and made it one of my Fast Fives. It's this couple who are trapped in this castle, and the title of the story is called The Hounds of Titus Rowan. And while they're trapped in this castle with these hounds outside, they eventually grow close, have a baby, and that's when the hounds come. They've been keeping them well fed and everything, but they wanted the baby, and they even told him, we need a new king for our clan. So we decided you and your child would have been the best king, not to worry, you're going to have a merciless death afterwards. And it was just very creepy, because it's Richard Corbin art, and I love Richard Corbin art because it's so creepy. So yes, House of Mystery continues to amaze, and I really love it for the main story and the smaller side stories as well. And finally this week from Marvel, we have War of Kings #6. It is the ultimate finale issue. Or so we think. So we have Vulcan versus Black Bolt. The two kings going at it, people. And they're in the T-bomb. The T-bomb is going to be malfunctioning because of all this bloody warfare going on between the two of them. Crystal and the others, they see this from afar. Crystal says, I gotta go help him. And meanwhile, on the Shi'ar throne world, the new Majestor is Gladiator. He has picked up the scepter and said, hey, it's gonna be me. And then meanwhile we go back to the T-bomb, and Vulcan is just melted to just burning flesh by Black Bolt because he just says the word no, and he shouts it at the top of his lungs. So while Crystal's about to rescue him, Vulcan comes up from the dead just like in horror movies and takes him away, and they both explode in the T-bomb. Everyone doesn't know who's alive and who's dead. Meanwhile, the Shi'ar's little fleet was rocked in the shockwaves and said, hey, we surrender. So, they win, but at what cost? So anyway, it was a fantastic end of a nice little space cosmic Marvel event. If you've been loving Nova Guardians of the Galaxy, this is right up your alley, people. You should go check it out. Well, that does it this week for Cammy's Comic Corner. If you want more Cammy's Comic Corner goodness, go to www.cammyscomiccorner.com. From there you can subscribe to us on the RSS feed, or on iTunes, or on Twitter, or talk on the forums. Also, if you're a big fan of comic book t-shirts, head on over to deadlinegraphics.net. From there, send Kelly an email. He has an entire catalog. Superman, DC, Marvel, X-Men, what have you. There's only one name that I trust when it comes to comic book t-shirts. That is Kelly over at www.deadlinegraphics.net. And also, if you're looking for more comic books or manga even, head on over to www.rsc-online.com. Rising Sun Creations specializes in comics, manga, and collectible toys imported straight from Japan, all conveniently located in one online store and store in Mission Valley. Thank you, Rising Sun Creations, for sponsoring the show. That does it this week. I've been your host, Cammy. This has been Cammy's Comic Corner. Au revoir, as the Italians would not say.